Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Friday Nightmares podcast. I am one-third of your hosting team this evening, Mr. Smokeshow Crawford, coming to you from the town of Swartz Creek, in the county of Genesee, in the state of Michigan, in the United States of America, in the North American continent, in the Western Hemisphere, on the planet Earth. In the Milky Way galaxy, I'm fully faxed, waxed, and ready to climax. And if you can, please get me wet and feed me after midnight. And with me, as always, is
Heather Powell, coming to you today from Waterdown, Ontario, Canada, with her dog who's bugging the fuck out of her right now at her knee whining. But that is not the special guest that we have on today. We have a very special gentleman that is with us today. Unfortunately, his beautiful, lovely co-host could not make it today, but hopefully we'll be able to connect with her in the future. These two have recently come onto the, mainstream podcast community earlier this year, though they could have been doing stuff beforehand, and I'm just a snobby Canadian bitch that doesn't know anything, and maybe they have. He is a DJ. He looks like not even over 40. He's like super good looking, by the way, as well too, and looks super young, so props to him. He is currently doing the podcast, and I always mess up this name, so I'm going to get Scott to say it for me. The Eternal
Darkness of the Not So Spotless
Mind, which I love the movie, by the way. That is an excellent film. He has been on Controllers Up, Cards Down. He is charming. He is clever. He loves Art the Clown, so he's definitely high in our books. He is Mr. Matt Wood. Thank you so much for joining us, Matt.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. Wow, what an introduction. That's beyond, well beyond anything I was ever expecting. So thank you. It's very kind of you having us. Oh, I say us, it's only me.
Well, Kate's here in spirit. We're channeling Kate. Unfortunately, Kate works for cinemas. What cinema chain does she work for? Is there a big chain in the UK?
We can't say, unfortunately.
Okay. Oh,
just for work purposes, yeah, she's not allowed to say. So
are you fucking kidding me?
No. I know.
Really
I know,
funny.
Absolutely. So I can't say.
All right, well, that's fine. She works for a cinema, by the way, everybody.
Yeah,
but we can't say which one.
It's a big chain. That's all I can say.
It's an underground cinema, and Kate makes all the movies for them. Yeah, that's why. Censored. That movie's about Kate. Kate's the main chick from Censored. That's
she is.
All
she is
down
indeed.
To,
yeah.
Right?
So unfortunately, she can't make it today, but.
Yeah, because the cinema that we can't talk about is making her work. Sounds like they're a really great employer. So, but much love to Kate. You can definitely check out Kate on Matt and hers podcast as well. She's done tons of work on summer series as well as the Dark Parade. She is currently doing, I think it's, the Dark Parade romantic.
The Dark Parade. Now I just gave the show a shout out last week, and
oh my god, we're such assholes. The Dark Parade with Bo Ramsdale. She has done two wonderful extras, 2 episodes with him in regards to
Heart of Darkness
in regards to romance and horror. So please check out Kate on those podcasts. She's absolutely fabulous, and it's always great to have another powerful, beautiful female in this community. So much love, Kate. I know you said you were going to be listening, and we're sorry you can't be here with us today, but we're going to turn to your side piece, Matt, and now find out a little more about him. So Matt, why don't you tell us your story? How did you get involved in horror?
Well, basically, I think it all started when I was about 8 years old. I've got 2 older brothers who used to hang out with their friends, and I used to have to go with them when their parents would go out drinking. And then we'd basically sort of stay overnight and stuff. And the first film that I was kind of introduced to horror-wise was The Evil Dead.
Nice.
So yes, I was only 8 at the time, and it absolutely scared the crap out of me. And it really, really stuck. I mean, I'll never forget when one of the witches or demons stabs the pencil in the ankle.
Oh yeah.
It was such a gnarly scene, and it just really stuck with me. And I was like, oh my God, that's so scary. And it lasted with me for weeks and weeks. And I just wanted more from if you believe it, from 8, just wanted to see more. We'd always have Jaws, was always a family movie that was always on our VHS. So yeah, I used to watch that all the time. So it just kind of stemmed from there, really. Just a real love of anything scary. I just loved being, having the shit scared out of me, basically.
Love it. Love it. And I love that you got dropped off while your parents went out drinking. That was actually my favorite part of that
absolutely.
story.
Well, yeah, it kind of runs in the family.
Hey, you know what? That's called having good times. That's what that's called, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Living your best life.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And how did you get into podcasting? Is this your first podcast, or am I just completely unaware of the talent that you've had?
It is our first podcast, and mine and Kate's. Basically, we kind of got together through both listened to another podcast called The Podcast Under the Stairs, which I'm sure everybody's heard of. That's Duncan McLeish's podcast. I started to listen to that about 2017, I think. And Kate was about the same sort of time. And we just kind of built a friendship over there just through our mutual love and hate of certain films. For example, I hated Mother. She absolutely loved it. And we basically started slagging each other off because of that film and having mass arguments. But then, it was a friendship built around that, almost around that abuse that we shared.
Kind of like Heather and I.
I feel
exactly. You guys got exactly the same sort of vibe going on.
Yeah.
So, which is great. Excuse me. I have a swig of juice here.
Juice or beer? Be honest.
It is. Well, it's actually. It's Coke actually, but never mind.
Coca-Cola.
Because I'm full of cold, I've been trying to be good.
Nice.
Just trying. So anyway, basically, it was me who came up with the idea. I sort of said, do you fancy doing a podcast? I asked her, and I asked somebody else, Jamie McCauley, if he was interested. He was a little bit interested, but then he kind of actually sort of said, look, I can't really commit to that. So, but Kate was always interested. And this is probably about 2 years ago, and me being a lazy so-and-so, we had all the ideas, we were throwing them together, and it never really materialized till pretty much basically when COVID hit. And then obviously everybody was kind of sat, twiddling their thumbs. I thought, well, this is the prime opportunity to get off my arse and do something and get on with it. I mean, I know there are hundreds of horror podcasts out there and some great ones. And, we're not trying to compete. We're just basically just doing our own thing. And just because we enjoy talking about it, just thought, well, look, let's just give it a go. And if people want to listen to the show, then that's great. If they don't, then hey, no sweat. But we're just doing it because we enjoy doing it, and the support's been great. But that's where we are. So it's just basically that's how it all kind of came together, really, just throwing stuff together. But we're still learning. We're still probably needs a lot more work than either of us can put to it. But we're doing all right. I think we're doing all right.
I think when I listened to your first episode, I really got the sense that you guys liked each other. And to me, that is the most important thing, is chemistry. Yep. And you guys have chemistry. And I think that's what carries you through any podcast, any podcast in general. You can tell when hosts generally like each other and generally are comfortable with each other. And I think that's really shines out with you two. I love the perspective both of you bring. You're not afraid to share your opinions, whether they disagree or not. And I think you have a lot of fun together. And I'm glad you joined the podcasting world. And I think the attitude you have mirrors what Scott and I have. So maybe I'm a little biased. So. Right? Right. But I really think that, and also, for Kate, another female voice coming in, there is very few of us. It's always nice to have another one share the airwaves as well.
Sure.
So you guys are great. I think you guys are hammering away. And the name, who came up with the name of the podcast?
Well, this is quite funny. We were really struggling to find a name. There were some really stupid things. One of mine was, I was going to call it the Necronomic Cunt. But,
I like that. That should have that would have been.
But I don't think Apple would have accepted that one. So.
No, probably not.
There was also the Beer Bitch Project.
Nice. I like that. That's good.
Just some really dumb ideas, but it just didn't. Yeah, I don't know. It just basically. Kate put it out to basically anybody who was listening. Said, "Look, we're really struggling to find a name." And it was basically Jamie McCauley suddenly came up with the idea about 2:00 in the morning. So I said, oh, what about something along the, Eternal Darkness of Not So Spotless Minds? We're like, hey, that sounds perfect. Complete play
Nice.
on the other film. So
Yeah.
so that's basically how we went with it, really.
Nice.
And then Darren Wilson came in with the imagery for it. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
that's right.
Props to
Awesome.
Darren. So, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, Darren's a really Darren always listens to everybody's show. He is someone that is, I think, the backbone of supporters and a very intelligent man. Beyond intelligent, actually. So he's a very supportive person. So I'm glad he helped you guys with the imagery and stuff. But what you guys have together is awesome. I hope you continue it for as long that it's fun and as long as it works and you have a good time.
Thank you.
I loved your live video. I did watch the entire thing. When you guys went live, obviously not when you went live. I had to watch the recorded just because of time differences when we were at the film festival together.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the two of your banters back and forth. Like I remember saying to Scott, I'm like, we'll go live too, but it would be like us being like, wah! And it was us just talking about how like fucking hand we were and the fatties we just smoked and like because marijuana is legal here in Canada, so I can walk anywhere and buy a joint and buy edibles, and it's legal for Scott in Michigan, right? So we're very open about I'm very open about what I choose to consume, and I just pull Scott into it.
Rightly so.
Right. So I do hope to see more live videos of the two of you in the future. If you
I'm sure we will do. I mean, I don't know when we'll meet up next. Maybe I know Fright Fest are doing something in Glasgow in March, which Duncan McLeish and a few of the other podcasters will be going up to. So maybe might be able to make that. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll be meeting up again soon.
Awesome.
Sure.
And I was going to ask too, like, how far away are you and Kate from each other where you guys live?
About an hour's drive.
Oh, okay.
That's
so not too far.
That's not bad at all.
Right.
So
that's because Scott thinks England's like a small little island. He doesn't have any concept.
I mean, I am American.
I'm just kidding. Scott knows. Scotty knows.
Scotty knows.
But thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
We really do appreciate it, and we're excited to go through our list. So our top 5 list today for our listeners will be any top 5 Christmas/winter horror films. As always with our list, we have no fucking rules. You think it's a horror movie, we'll go with it's a horror movie. You think it happens around Christmas time or it's wintry, we go with it. We're all about freedom of expression here on Friday Nightmares.
All right.
What you want to the table, we'll discuss it. We have a good time. So Scotty will kick us off with his number 5. Better not be fucking Gremlins.
Well, I already told you my top 5 is nothing but Gremlins. That's all it is. Gremlins. But no, my number 5, I am going to start. I kind of did a mix of Christmas and winter for this one, since we were kind of like the topic, so I kind of interspersed them all between each other. But as always, I kind of did, some of the more popular ones that people may expect of me. I left off the list, though there are some that I, of course, sprinkled in as well. Like I'm trying to mix it up a little bit here. But the first, for my number 5, I ended up going with one that obviously is definitely a Christmas horror film that is well known in the community, and that is Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984. I just freaking
never
love
heard
this
of it.
movie. No one's ever heard this movie. But yeah, I just love this. The whole Santa being the killer, like this is like a very dark character study on like abuse and like trauma. And like when I first watched this, I watched it as a slasher, and I'm going, this is just kind of a unique slasher. It's like very slow to get to the get-go, and it kind of expands this character's whole life. And then as I got older and started watching it more, I'm going, wow, no, this really covers a lot with trauma and like the trauma not being dealt with, and just like the crap this poor kid gets put through. It's like no wonder he fucking snaps and does what he does, because he just had people that just didn't give a shit about him at all. And like it's got amazing kills, but it's also just like a very good study of character, and I love that about this film.
I just talked about it yesterday on Slumber Party Massacre, which is another podcast. It's my side chick podcast that I do, and we talked about how like Billy is an antagonist and a protagonist. It is such an interesting character shift that this kid just goes through so much fucking trauma. And then like you kind of see that part in the store where he's kind of coming around, and he's drinking the milk instead of the wine. I love that scene where the one guy offers him wine and like he's like, no, I got my milk. I'll be like, give me the fucking wine. But especially in retail, right? Especially in retail. But I agree, Scott. I think, and the tobogganing kill, and then the kill with the deer head, like it's a great film. It really is.
Good show.
Yeah, it's one like I'm glad that like what was it, Scream Factory brought it out with like all the cutout kills being re-edited into the film. Like you can obviously tell like there was like the VHS quality difference, but at the same time, like I'm glad they added that back in there because it just like adds to like the horror factor and just kind of builds up more of the story.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about the Scream Factory.
Yeah, I believe it was Scream Factory that did it. Like might have been before that too, but I think Scream Factory like is the one that kind of cleaned up the edits a little better.
Very good, very good.
I assume you're a fan, Matt. You've seen it?
You know what? I've seen half of it.
Did you watch part 2?
No, I watched half of it and I passed out.
Oh,
that sounds like a good night. I don't know. Like, what's the problem? It's all right. Here, we'll spoil it for you. Santa kills everyone. The end.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So yeah, I was basically halfway through, and I was already had a bit of a skinful, and didn't watch the rest of it. Unfortunately,
man, Matt, if we lived in the same country, we would be dead.
Danger.
Like seriously, dude. Like they'd be like, these two cannot hang out together anymore.
Oh geez, it will happen one day. It will happen.
I do plan on coming to England. Is the place I want to go visit the most in the world. I'm not kidding.
Really? Oh, but
it is. I have Welsh heritage, so I want to go back to.
We'll come and look after you, definitely.
Oh yeah, I'll visit with you and get you. Better fucking believe I will. I'll be there. I'll find you. On that note, Scott, did you want to add anything else about Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Nope. I think we pretty much covered it. So yeah, we can pass it over to Matt and get his number
Matt.
5.
Right. Well, my number 5 is a film from 1974. Now, is this giving you any clues?
Is it Canadian?
It's by Bob Clark. Does that ring any more bells?
Just a few more bells.
I hope I'm not taking anybody's number 1 or number 2 or number 3, number 4, or maybe they're number 5, but it's Black Christmas.
Awesome.
Now, I've got to be honest here in that I only watched it this week. Believe it or not, I'd seen the 2019 remake.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that was something else. Less we talk about that, the better. But 1974's Black Christmas. Now, was this the original slasher? I think people consider this like the original.
Yeah, what is it called? Proto slasher, Scott?
Yep, proto slasher is what I've heard to be tossed around too.
Right. Okay. See, I mean, I really enjoyed this. I love the aesthetic. I love the whole setting. It gives it a real great Christmassy vibe. You really feel it. You can feel, with what's the actress's name? Margot Kidder when she's she's basically prowling around looking for drinks. I thought that's brilliant. That's basically me just knocking drinks back all the time. I just love the setting. It's just got a real kind of sorority. Everyone's getting drunk and getting that Christmas vibe. And then you got this weird, really creepy dude making the most weirdest noises down the phone. It's scary, yet it's also, I don't know, it's just so weird, isn't it?
It is weird. It is super weird. Like if you got calls like that, and you gotta remember 1974, no caller ID, none of that shit. So you're just hearing fucking breathing on the phone. And that'd be creepy as fuck, right?
And different voices, like high pitched squeaking, and then just some weird noises. It's just great. I loved it. What else can I say about it? Some really good kills. I love. I would like to have seen a bit more actual, not off screen. That's probably one thing I'd like to see a bit more on screen. There's a lot of like the very first kill where the girl's up in the attic and gets her face wrapped in the cling film. Spoiler alert.
Well, you saw it last week for the first time, but most people have seen it. But if you haven't, you spoiled it.
Yeah, sorry everybody. But yeah, it's a classic. And I'm sorry that I've only just got around to watching it this week because I think it's definitely one that I'll watch in future.
Awesome. Awesome.
Definitely one of the Christmas traditions for me around here. I always love watching that around this time of year. I also
Scott loves watching sorority girls get killed this time of year.
Yeah.
He's just like, it's fucking Christmas. Let's kill some bitches.
It fits perfectly. And I'll also say I am also a fan of the 2006 remake, the Black Xmas.
Fun. It's fun. It's
that one's just straight up. That one's just straight up like modern age slasher. I love that.
Very 2060 slasher, but yeah, 1974 Canadian classic Black Christmas. Lots of Canadian actors in it, actresses. Very and a little bit of a social commentary about pregnancy and abortion and female stuff going on there, right? It's a great subtle creepy horror. Some people find it boring, some people are not a fan. I am definitely not that person. I agree with you, Matt. I think it sets up a very good creepy ambiance, and the killer is disturbing. Yeah. It's a very disturbing film. So it's awesome.
Definitely somebody who's got mental issues.
Right? Absolutely.
just being played out over the telephone, really.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Solid pick. So thanks for bringing it to the table.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with maybe one that's less known. I don't know if this is super well known or not. Emily Blunt was in this film back in 2007, and it is Wind Chill. This is a first time watch for me this year. I've heard about it. Derek B. Shout outs to Derek B. He was the one who talked about it first, that I had heard talk about it. I'm sure other people have, but I heard that Derek spoke about it. And basically it's about a girl and a boy, and they aren't given names. They're just called girl and boy. And the girl is looking to go home for Christmas. She does a rideshare thing with this dude, and they take off. They're driving home just before Christmas. A winter storm hits and they get into an accident, and things unravel from there. This is very much a supernatural movie mixed with relationships. There's a very deep in story. We give spoilers in this, people should know there's spoilers that we give for some of our movies. There are ghosts involved in this, and some complex ghost stories on top of it. And you can feel the cold. There's a couple other movies on my list, one in particular where if you watch it, you feel the cold. And I don't know how cold it gets in England. What Celsius do you guys get down to? Celsius, Scott.
I'd say the coldest. I mean, at night, -8.
Okay.
So it does get cold. We do have a bit of snow, but it's not as cold as
it's other parts of the world, right? No. So up, like even for me, you get the -25 wind chill days here and there in January, but they're not the norm. But if you were up further north in Canada, maybe you were up in Alberta or northern parts of Ontario, you could get even cooler than that. So you can feel the cold in this movie, and the relationship between the two characters really carries this film. And Emily Blunt is an excellent actress, and she shows it in this film. Scotty, I know you've seen it.
Yep, actually, you told me about it this week to check it out, so I watched it, and great fucking movie. I wasn't sure how about Emily Blunt's character at first, but as the story progresses, I'm going, okay, yep, it makes sense why she is the way she is.
Yeah, she's kind of bitchy. Not a nice person at first, right? But you grow to understand why. Matt, have you seen it?
I haven't. No. It's another one I haven't seen.
It's fun. It's a good short watch. It's only an hour and a half long, which is nice. Sometimes you don't feel like watching 2.5-hour movies. So this is a nice, perfect amount. It's a good little relationship ghost story. So Wind Chill 2007 for anyone who hasn't checked it out yet.
Good stuff.
Great movie.
On it.
All right. So my number 4, I decided to go with a winter horror film instead of Christmas for this one. And that is We Are Still Here from 2000.
Fuck yeah.
This movie, when you're saying you feel the cold, this one, it just feels like, for Michigan style, middle of January, just feels cold outside, and just the way it is. And this is just one of those really just violent ghost stories. You don't get a lot of extreme violent ghost stories. It's a lot of jump scares in most of these types of films. Not in this. And I love every character in this. Barbara Crampton going through her grief, does a freaking fantastic job being the mother that lost her son, and this and that, and how she is just kind of processing everything. And then you get the incredible special effects with the way the ghosts look and the way the violence is portrayed on screen. But the one thing that I brought it up when we reviewed this on our show was the thing that I love about it is, most ghosts, you feel a chill when they're near you. Not in this film. When the ghosts are around, you feel heat. and like everything's hot because these ghosts were burned alive.
Mhm.
So like, and they represent burnt, charred corpses, and just like it is just a freaking awesome, creepy ass horror film. And then I also got to give a shout out to Larry Fessenden, especially when he gets, spoiler alert, gets possessed. And the way he's talking and acting in that is just so fucking creepy. And
Yeah.
it's, yeah, one of my, like, when this movie came out in 2015, it has just gone up every time I've watched it. And I've watched it at least 5 times now. And I fucking love this movie so much.
Yeah, it's a sick film.
stuff,
And
it is.
yeah. Have you seen it, Matt?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I rate it highly too. Very scary. Yeah, really spooky.
Oh,
Great-
and I
great-
also got to say, like, I love the fact that it gives nods to Lucio Fulci.
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
That's freaking amazing that you don't see that much in modern day horror, like a nod to the old Italian gore master.
We need more of that, definitely.
Yes.
I think the point you made about the cold is really valued, though, Scott. When you look at the outside interior shots, or when that couple's driving in, or when they're trying to flee, or she's trying to flee, you really do get the vibe of the coldness and the isolation of this film. And it kind of adds to the grieving in the film as well, too, right? The film is about grief. I think everyone knows that, but it's a really good pick. I didn't even think of it. So awesome pick for this.
Yeah, good shout.
Yep. This is one that I like. A lot of the winter horror films that don't represent Christmas are usually what I tend to watch during the January season. Just because like that is like usually the coldest month here in Michigan. So it's like, yep, let's watch like the winter horror films of like just being cold. It just kind of,
because I'm cold and we're cold and we might as well be cold watching films, right?
Exactly.
Shout.
Matt, how about you? What is your number 4?
My number 4. Now, this film, I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about, and I don't know why I stumbled across this one. But it's from 2017, and it's an Icelandic film called I Remember You.
Ooh.
Heard of this one?
I
No.
am not.
It's by Oscar Thor Axelsson. Ooh, that's a great name.
I love that.
Yeah. It's basically about a couple that goes to Iceland or to an island just off Iceland to set up a home in this this village, which I think everybody is pretty much gone, but they're basically setting up in this place, and it's in Iceland, so it's got this cold setting, it's bleak, it's got that feeling of isolation. And basically it's a very it's more of a thriller, really, horror thriller, but it's more of a mystery about what these two what this couple, what they're experiencing, while setting up their home. And they're going around the village, and basically what's occurring. I don't really want to say too much because it's one of those films I really want people to watch and give some time to, because it was in my top 5 films of 2017. And as I say, I haven't heard anybody else talk about it. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. There's plenty of twists and stuff, but it's a really, really good film. Yes, I Remember You from 2017.
I actually just went and added it on my watch list on Letterboxd to remind me to check this out, because I am very curious about this one now.
Yeah, so Icelandic films. How many Icelandic films have you seen?
Not too many, like maybe 2, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's a really good one. Well worth a watch for sure.
Awesome.
I will definitely want to check it out. You've sold me.
Good stuff. Get it watched.
We will, for sure. It's always good when people bring new stuff to the table. It's like it's just like Christmas, which is great, but I really appreciate that you brought an international film as well.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought I better throw in something which is a bit more,
No one's going to give you a basic
obvious.
pitch now, Matt. Everyone's going to know you're the man. My next number 4, or my number 4, is a little basic, I think, but that's okay. I really like the film. And it is Frozen 2010 by Adam Green, not the Disney one. I hate when I tell people I like Frozen and they automatically go to the Disney film. But Frozen by Adam Green, and it is from 2010. For those who haven't seen the movie, it's about a couple and a best friend who go skiing at a ski resort. And they decide to do one last run, and due to miscommunication, they get left out on a ski lift. Thinking people will come back, and they do not, and it becomes a fight for survival. What I really appreciated about this film is this could happen. I've seen many ski resorts in Ontario, and I don't think people would be left there for as long as they were left there, but I could see people get accidentally left on lifts for sure. I could see the miscommunication that happens in this movie actually happening. I always loved the wolves in this movie because I didn't believe they were actually wolves for the longest time. Apparently they were, but there's one scene where one just sits with his paws crossed, and it like they were like, just leave it. Like, we wanted to look vicious, but at this point we don't fucking care. Just leave them, because it's hard to train animals to do what you want. I do think they're more husky. I don't know how you train wolves to do that, but anyway, I just love the character contrast in this movie and what they try, the different attempts they make to live, and how some of those attempts have some devastating consequences. And for a very basic set, you are again relying on acting, line delivery, and those characters' ability to make us believe there is a threat. And I think the three of these characters do it incredibly. I know Scott's seen the film. Have you seen the film, Matt?
I have indeed. Yeah, I watched it. This summer actually.
Nice.
It was part of the summer series.
Oh, cool.
So I watched that. I'm not the biggest fan, I've got to be honest.
Off the fucking show, Matt. Yeah. We don't care about your top three now.
Cheers, bye bye. No, my only issue with the film is just I'm not keen on situational horrors. Does that make sense?
When for people, sure.
These single location things. I'm not a fan, and I'm just annoyed. It's like, for goodness sakes, just throw the ski at the vehicle coming up the hill, the snowplow. Throw your ski at it, for cry out loud.
Yeah.
Anyway,
absolutely. And you know what? It's absolutely fair to have a different opinion, right? Like, by no stance, whatever, I want someone to love a movie that I love. And I think when I think of winter films, I just think that really represents the winter very well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's
right. And they make a lot of poor decisions. You're right. There is a very poor decision making that is made in that film where you are yelling at the TV, but maybe that's what they wanted.
Probably
for people to get frustrated, right?
They succeeded in that respect, certainly with me anyway.
Matt had to drink 5 beers to make up for those bad decisions that they were all making. It's like, now I got to go to the pub to deal with this fucking movie. What about you, Scotty? What are your thoughts?
I do enjoy this film quite a bit. But the whole decision making, that I think that's just a part of the subgenre of the survival horror isolation. Because you watch these movies and you're sitting here going, well, yeah, why wouldn't you fucking do that? Do that. You're screaming at the screen, but these people are in the situation and always making the wrong decisions. Hence why they're in the situation they're in the first place most of the time.
Like Scott and I making wrong decisions.
Yeah. That is my life choice.
We could absolutely have a horror movie that's situational. It's called New Year's Eve 2022.
Oh, jeez. I am
It'll be a found footage film. It will be Scott and I going live on Facebook. The bad decisions. And Matt will be like, God damn it, guys, why can't you just do things properly? I hate fucking situational horror. Anyway.
But yeah, I do enjoy this one. And this is one again, this is definitely a film that you feel the cold, like you were bringing up earlier.
Yeah.
Like it,
that's true.
It definitely is like, you're stranded and you're screwed. It's like there isn't many options you have at that point, like just being up there. So it's like, Then I do have to agree with the wolves. They do so damn cute.
Oh my God. Anything with animals, I'm just like, oh, there was animals in it. I like it. Like, honestly, it's a problem. But that is my number 4. So let's move over to Scotty's number 3.
All right. So my number 3. I am going to bring in a movie from 1980. And it is also another character study that we also covered on our Christmas episode last year. And that is Christmas Evil.
Oh, nice.
Basically a man that is way too obsessed with Christmas and basically thinks he is Santa Claus in his own head and does some really creepy things, like right in the beginning where you're watching him just like watching these kids and writing down if they're naughty or nice by him just spying on them, which right away is just fucking creepy. And but like, yeah, he takes his obsession way too far, and like he eventually snaps because one too many bad things happen to him throughout this film, and he just goes on a killing spree. And like, but at the same time, once again, this is just one of those like deep character studies of like, how far is obsession, like how far is someone willing to take their obsession with something, and like how much can a man take before he fucking goes nuts. And I love this film. Like, you feel bad for him at the same time you're angry at him for being the way he is, but at the same time you're just like, you can't help but have sympathy for the way this guy is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
'Cause
good
once-
movie for that.
That's like, 'cause once again, it has to deal with trauma.
Yeah.
Is this one where he's getting chased through the streets?
Yes, like he
Yes.
gets in a van and
Yeah.
he's trying to run away because he's getting the cops after him and stuff like
That's
that.
right. Yeah, yeah. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a fan, Matt? Or do you also want to feel the joy from this as well?
No. I have seen it. I can't remember what I gave it. I'm just looking at my notes. I saw it quite a long time ago.
Fair enough.
So I can't remember what I gave it.
It's pretty normal. I watched it last year and I don't overly remember a lot of it. Like, I would probably have to go back and listen to our episode and me talking about it to have a better idea what I thought. I think I enjoyed it.
You did.
I think I felt really bad for the main character, but it didn't stand out to me. But it's a very popular Christmas film. And I think it did try to capitalize on the whole obsession and what happens when someone breaks really, really well. Right.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm just trying to go through my head now. I do remember it actually. And it was, it's a decent film. Well,
Yeah, you can definitely tell I have a thing for character studies like that.
Character studies and relationship horror. Scott's like, son of a bitch, I'm in. It's a sin, right?
I just eat that up.
He's like, give me more. All right, Matt, bring us in. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is another film which I've just seen this week, which is 1997's Jack Frost.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear. I love that. This movie's jokes. It's hilarious.
I was just like, I basically had a list of films. I thought, right, I need to watch these. These, get into the Christmas vibe. I need to be watching these, and I saw this one. I thought I just put it on the TV, and I just saw the poster. I was like, this looks like my kind of shit. It's hilarious. It's such a great idea. If you haven't seen it, it's basically a bad guy. It's kind of like Shocker.
Yes.
Isn't it? It's like the same concept as Shocker. Guy who's bad gets mutated and then transformed into something else. This is obviously gets transported into a snowman, a killer snowman, no less.
Yes.
I mean, geez, horror fans, you got to be watching this. A snowman that's going around killing people. What's not to love? It's gory. It's just hilarious. It's just
it's some great kills in it, and I love.
Really good kills.
There's another Jack Frost with Michael Keaton. We're not talking about that Jack
No,
Frost, everybody. We're talking about a much lower budget, much more cheesy, fucking just the snowman coming to life and fucking shit up in this town, and it is awesome.
And they know the type of movie they made too. Like, they were like all on board with it.
Yeah.
And it's like very much like the Child's Play vibe, right? Like, of the spirit being put into a snowman and the snowman coming to life and just like fucking up this town. I love it. I don't know if Scott's a big fan. I love it. I think it's hilarious.
It's one of those where kind of like it's like Thanksgiving to me, where it's like I dislike it, but at the same time I can't help but watch it every couple of years and just get a little bit of a chuckle out of it. But at the same time, I'm going, why am I watching this? This is so bad and dumb, but at the same time I can't help but have fun with it. Like, it's one of those weird, just like, it's a bad movie that knows it's bad and rolls with it.
Like Tusk.
Yes.
Oh man, that's another fucking. Oh man, that movie's so funny.
I know. I heard your review. I had to throw that in there.
That's all right. I don't. It's just fucking hilarious. The making fun of the Canadian stereotypes, and then him and the wall. Anyway, we won't get into it. But him and that fucking walrus they fight.
Crazy shit.
See, like, it's just dumb shit. I feel like in like you have two types of movies. You have movies that you take seriously, like something like Black Christmas, where you're like, oh man, this is like a really deep film and like it has a lot of messages in it. And you got fucking Jack Frost, where you're like, this movie's completely ridiculous and it makes no sense, but it's just Jack Fox and his like wisecracking shit he does throughout it.
Oh, all I gotta say is though, avoid part 2. Avoid.
Oh, I haven't seen part 2. Sounds like I got my Christmas Eve watch list
damn
ready
right,
to go.
Well, we'll just say Jack Frost goes someplace tropical.
Oh man, I'll just be jealous. I also wish I was going someplace tropical. Well, thank you for bringing that in. I'm really glad you brought in Jack Frost. That's amazing. My next movie is from 2007 as well. I actually watched this movie by chance back when I first got Netflix. And you remember when Netflix first came out, it like they had kind of like lower run movies on it, right? Like you didn't get like the prime movies or really good stuff. You still had video stores then. But this movie was called P2.
Oh,
and
nice.
I saw the cover and I was like,
yes.
you know what? I'll check this shit out. You know, whatever. It looks like a slasher. And I think I was doing schoolwork because I was in one of my many degree programs I was doing at the time. And I was watching this shit and I was like, fuck, this movie is lit. This chick is awesome. And the basis of it is there's a woman who's a workaholic who kind of reminds me of me, very career obsessed. That's her focus. She's supposed to go home for Christmas. She's working late in the office on Christmas Eve. And the security guard is obsessed with her and decides that he's going to spend a Christmas with her, and chaos ensues. And it's this crazy game of cat and mouse that occurs within this parking garage. Now, obviously, you have to suspend your disbelief. There's stuff that happens in it where you'd be like, all right, that probably wouldn't actually happen, but it's a fucking horror movie. That's what we do for all horror movies. And the dancing that he does with her, the Blue Christmas, always sticks in my head. I still remember that scene perfectly, and it's still on Netflix. So for anyone who hasn't checked out this movie, I totally recommend watching it. You guys are nodding. I take it you've both seen it. Matt, you've seen it.
I have indeed, yeah. It's good film. Classic.
Awesome.
You know, Christmas Eve film. She's stuck in there, and I love that bit when the guy drives the car into the other dude.
Oof, God. Yeah. Multiple times.
Brutal.
Right.
Brutal.
But yeah, I actually just watched this for the first time last year and completely slipped my mind that this was a Christmas movie, or this probably would have been at least in my honorable mentions, but I completely forgot all about this movie. So I'm glad you brought this one to the table because it is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys both dig it. So everyone, is still available on Netflix. Go watch it if you haven't had a chance to. And then Sweeney the Deal with Jack Frost too, because Scott has praised how good it is. Right?
Oh God.
All right, Scotty, what's your number 2? And I swear to God, if it's Gremlins 2, we're ending our podcast and I'm joining Matt and Kate moving forward.
I already told you, no, Gremlins 2, I'm saving that for a special top 5.
Oh, okay.
But no, my number 2, I'm going back to a winter horror and not a Christmas one. And it is from 2008 and one of my all-time favorite vampire movies, and that is Let the Right One In.
Very good.
Freaking love this film. It is such a unique take for vampirism, and the main girl, I think, was a character named Ellie or Ella, I think, something like that. But yeah, like these little kid actors, just freaking incredible, and it is such a dark undertone of like, you know, a vampire being a 200-year-old vampire being trapped in a little girl's body, and like the older adult familiar that she has, while hinted at, is more, from what I heard in the books, is more like he is a pedophile, and she basically is just keeping him alive, or basically saying, you know what, you're going to be my familiar, and if you don't like it, well, I am going to let everybody know that you are a pedophile. And so she basically, like, you know, obviously that's part of the book, but at the same time, like, knowing that, and it hints at it in the movie. And it is another film that is also extremely cold feeling when you're watching it. And like, once again, foreign films like this, they don't shy away from tough subject matters.
No, and they don't. Foreign films are willing to go down that road.
Yeah, and also I love the fact that it like kind of like takes on like a aspect of like looking at bullying, because poor Oliver gets bullied like crazy in that film.
Yeah, he does.
And once again, kind of snaps because of it.
Yeah, no, it's a great film. It's you know, from 2008. That's Swedish, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was actually my number 2 pick.
Was it really?
Yeah, so I have to pick something else. But yeah, no, it's a great film. And if you haven't checked it out, make time to watch this one, because it really is something. It's just so beautifully shot. And as you say, it's just got that real cold feel to it. Just an oppressive feel to it.
Yes.
You just feel as, you know, they're kind of stuck in this place, and it's just feels cold and oppressive. It's a very good shout, that one, definitely.
Yeah, but it makes you, like, you look at it and go, like, it even though they're like in an apartment complex like Oliver is, it still feels like they're so isolated because you just don't see a lot of people around, and it's just, but I think that's also that winter setting is always makes for everything feeling like you're isolated.
Yeah.
And I love that about this film. Like, it is just such a good vampire film. Like, and yeah, I watched it. I'd probably say 2011 was when I first seen it, and it instantly shot up to one of my all-time favorite vampire movies.
Oh yeah, it's highly rated. I don't even know what it's got on IMDb. I'm sure it's damn high.
Yeah. And I actually even have to say, the American remake, Let Me In, actually isn't that bad either. Like, that's a remake that I would recommend.
Yes, of course. Yes, they have done a remake. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the remake, but
yeah, I'd say it's not bad. Obviously, it's not as good as Let the Right One In, but it's still not bad.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Awesome. So do you need some time to pick a new one, Matt?
No, I can. Well, no, I've got others, but they're a bit more, let's say, generic.
That's okay.
We're not generic.
We bring whatever you like. It can be generic as possible.
So, my honorable mentions. Well, I'm just going to go with The Shining.
Nice.
That's a great one for snow and cold. That's perfect.
Well, it's a classic. Everybody's seen The Shining. Stanley Kubrick from 1980. It's the perfect wintry feel film for me. It's just everything about it. It's just the isolation, the characters, what they're going through, and Jack Nicholson's performance. It's creepy as hell. It's weird as hell. Some weird shit thrown in there. The imagery. It's just a classic. It really is a classic. It's just brutal at times. The axe hitting. I was going to go Scotty Carruthers.
Scatman Carruthers. Yeah,
Scatman Carruthers. I think that's brilliant. But no, just the performances. I mean, his performance in that, Jack Nicholson's performance. It's his best performance by far.
Yes,
I think.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
But yeah, it just has that winter feel to it, and the score's amazing. I just love that intro as it just kind of pan on in, and the music starts. Just creepy as hell.
Everything about this is like it is a masterpiece horror film. Like,
it is
absolutely.
Yeah.
And this was actually in contention for my honorable mentions or top 5. I had it on the list, but I'm like, I have a feeling someone may bring this one to the table, so I took it off.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome. I actually didn't even think about The Shining, so I'm really glad that you guys both thought about it. That's cool.
Isolation winter horror at its finest.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, no, for sure, right? For me, this one is going to be super popular, and I don't fucking care because it's awesome. It's Krampus 2015.
Yes.
I don't know what more we need to say. If you haven't seen this Christmas horror film now, get out of the rock or out from under the rock you're living under, because it is by far one of the best Christmas horror movies that have ever been made.
Yep.
Which makes me wonder why it's not my number one, but we'll get to that. I appreciate the fuck out of this movie. Like, I think most people do. Like, the acting, the line delivery, the setup, how cold it feels watching it, the unhappy, happy ending, however you want to look at it. It is such a fucking solid film. And the character actors that they got in this are just awesome. The kids are awesome. Everyone is awesome. It's such an easy movie to watch again and again, even if you know the outcome. I'm going to let both of you talk about it because I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah, this is the most Christmassy feeling Christmas horror film I think that is out there. Like, it nails everything about it. And when I describe this to people that may not have seen it, I always say, imagine Christmas Vacation blended with Gremlins. And that is what you get, because it's like it is the chaoticness of Gremlins, but it is the family stress of Christmas as well from Christmas Vacation. And it's just like that perfect blend.
It is. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's a great film. I only saw it for the first time last year, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Last Christmas I thought, I need to get my Christmas movies in. And that came up, and I loved it. It's a great film. And I love the design of Krampus himself. I think it's very, very cool.
And one thing I got to give about this film too is the sound design too. Because like when you see Krampus for the first time on the rooftop and you just see him running and hopping on top of each roof, chasing that girl, like the sound design of when he hits the roof and just that thud that he makes, like it just vibrates the whole house when you're watching it if you have a good sound system. And and once again, another film that does you feel freaking cold watching it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Michael Dougherty, I want him to do a holiday movie for every holiday out there now, because he just nails the holiday season.
Yeah, no, good
He
shout.
just knows how to make the good movies, right? So Krampus, if you haven't seen it, everyone, they've blown it. Please go watch Krampus.
I am so glad right before we started recording, I'm like, I have a feeling someone's going to have Krampus. It wasn't my top 5. I swapped it around.
Nice. Yes, absolutely. Well, and I was going to swap it out too, but I'm like, fuck that shit. It's a great fucking movie.
Yep.
Krampus should be watched by everyone that's a horror
Damn
fan, right?
Damn right.
Exactly.
All right, the time we've all been waiting for, Scotty. What is your number one?
Well, speaking of, this is a popular movie that, everyone would probably expect me to have on my list. And fuck it, why would I take it off my list? It is my all-time favorite fucking movie in the world, and that is fucking Gremlins.
Yeah.
1984. Of course, it's going to be my number one movie of winter/horror. This is my Christmas Eve/Christmas Day tradition every year. Granted, I watch it multiple times a year every year, but it's like I have to watch it on those days. Like, it is everything about this film. Fucking love it. It has the Christmas feel to it. Like, it's like, people will argue if it's Christmas or not. I mean, for Christ's sakes, the town's decorated in Christmas.
How would he argue that it's not Christmas? He gets the Mogwai as a Christmas gift.
Gizmo is a Christmas gift. Exactly. Christmas music is playing throughout it.
It's a Christmas film.
There's people that have argued it, and I don't know why.
Yeah, those people are just arguing for the sake of looking important. There's no way to argue that.
But some of the best puppetry ever done. I fucking love the design of the Gremlins. Love Gizmo. He is so fucking adorable, and I want one. I don't care about all the rules. I would do my best to keep him just safe and have him as my little companion everywhere I went. Yeah. What more can I say about this movie? Everybody knows I blow fucking Gremlins like crazy. But yeah, it is my number one film. Fucking love it. And yep, I don't care how basic it is, because that is my love.
Is it your number one film of all time?
It
of
is.
Everything. Is it? Oh,
yes.
Don't give that away, Scott. It may not be Scott's number one film of all time, everybody. He's lying.
Oh.
Scott likes a lot of films. So many.
I do like a lot of films. And there are a couple that would be interchangeable. But yes, Gremlins is way up there. Way up there.
Great choice. Great film. It really is. And it's a great gateway film for kids to get into horror as well.
Exactly. Because there is like horrific scenes in it, like the kitchen scene. Like,
yeah.
But at the same time, like, it is definitely more child friendly. But there are like some very horrific moments in it. And I love the idea that this was originally going to be a rated R horror film straight up, until Steven Spielberg's going, let's kind of tone it back a bit, Joe Dante. You just chill a little bit on this. It's kind of bringing some of the family.
Damn right.
Right. Absolutely. No, you're right, Scotty. As much as I tease Scotty about this film, it is a phenomenal film. It is well made, well produced, well acted for what it is. The puppeteering is incredible for the time, and it stands up today.
Yeah.
It does stand the test of time. Gremlins is a great film in 2021, and this is the only time that Scott will hear me say that. So
I'm going to record this, and in our year-end
it
show,
is being recorded, Scott.
Sorry. I am gonna clip this out, and anytime you talk shit about Gremlins now, I'm gonna place this in with you saying how wonderful the movie is.
Nice.
So Matt, what's your number one?
Right. My number one. It is my favorite film of all time. And I hope this isn't your number one, Heather. But I'm going to go for 1982's The Thing.
Awesome choice. Awesome choice.
Again, it is a classic, but it's just the epitome of wintry isolation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the ultimate film for me. It has everything I want. It's got paranoia. It's got that wintry isolation feel. It's got body horror, which is just next level. The special effects, geez, at that time, 1982, and the shit that they were making then was so far ahead of its time, and it hasn't been beaten, in my opinion. The special effects just has not been beaten. I love it. I just love it. I love the characters in it. Kurt Russell's great. Just everybody in it. It's just awesome. I can't. it's just, and it's the ultimate winter film for me. I watch it every winter.
That's awesome.
It just it speaks for itself. I can't
awesome.
Can't say much more.
Fucking masterpiece. Once again, this was in my top 5, but I had a feeling someone else is going to bring it to the table, and I swapped it out to my honorable mentions.
Nice.
But yes, one of my all-time favorite John Carpenter films. And well, when we were talking about how like I have many number 1 horror films, this is one of them.
Yeah.
Everything you said, I agree wholeheartedly. Like the special effects are incredible.
Yeah.
And just once again, another film that I watched around January because it's just,
it stands the
you
test
feel
of
the
time.
cold. It does.
Right. And even the 1952 one is in the winter. The original. And I think the remake is phenomenal. The original isn't bad in its own right? It's an entertaining enough film for 1952. Like, it's pretty good.
And
but
we can't
I
go
agree.
without. Oh, sorry, Heather.
No, go ahead.
I was saying we can't go without saying how beautiful that fucking hair of Kurt Russell's is.
Honestly, like, that's actually why we all love the film. It has nothing to do with the special effects, nothing to do with any of that. It's the hair.
That beautiful
and the fact he's drinking Jack Daniels.
And the fact that he's drinking. Matt and I are already like, fuck son of a bitch, we're in. Like, oh my god, this movie's the best. But no, that's a really great movie to bring to the table. Honestly, great film too. That's not my number 1. My number 1 was very much more basic than that. It is 2015's A Christmas Horror Story. Absolutely love this anthology. And I think the story that stands out to me the most is the Santa one. Because when you get the reveal, very few things shock me and make me go, oh man, that's dark. That made me be like, oh fuck, that's dark. And I really appreciated their ability to go there and be that dark with that specific story that stands out. And the actor that plays Santa Claus as well too. I can't remember his name right now, but he's been in a lot of different films. He's had kind of, I don't know, he's a character actor, but excellent little anthology, A Christmas Horror Story. I can't believe I skipped over it for years because I thought the cover looked cheesy. Biggest regret, because that film is not cheesy. It is fucking dark. Have the two of you seen it?
Oh yeah. Well, we talked about it on our anthology episode.
Yes, we have. Right.
But
what about
I love it.
And you, Matt?
I haven't. No.
Oh, dude, you got to watch it this year.
Watch. This is an awesome Christmas horror anthology.
I've just written it down, so I'm just gonna add that to my list. Definitely.
Ignore the cover art because the cover art makes it look so like sci-fi channel bullshit.
Yeah, but it's a good, solid film. Really, really good, solid Christmas horror film. So I'll just go through my honorable mentions now because it's on me. Both of you already mentioned a couple already: Black Christmas, Silent Night, Jack Frost. The only other ones I had to respond or add to was Dead End 2003.
Nice.
I think that's a really good Christmas themed story. It's about a family that goes driving and they get lost, they get into a car accident, and then what happens as it continues on. Silent Night 2012. I actually really enjoyed this remake of Silent Night. It's nothing like the original concept, but it's a great slasher. I found it really entertaining. And finally, one that also I find absolutely hilarious and I don't take seriously at all is Santa's Sleigh in 2005 with Goldberg. And it's the opening scene where he slaughters everyone, including Fran Drescher, that I just find fucking jokes. Like, you got two types of holiday movies: those that take themselves seriously, like Krampus and A Christmas Horror Story, and then you got stuff like Jack Frost and Santa's Sleigh, and you just have to be in the frame of mind to watch that stuff. So those are my honorable mentions, and I'm pass it back over to Scotty.
Excellent. A lot of the movies on there, like, great choices. And a bunch of mine got mentioned, so I'll mention those first. So I had Krampus on my list, The Thing, and Christmas Horror Story were all in my honorable mentions. But I have two others that did not get mentioned yet, and that is Rare Exports from 2010.
Nice.
Ooh, don't know that one.
Oh, that one I think is
it's on Shudder here. Do you guys have Shudder in UK?
Yeah.
You might be on Shudder UK.
Okay.
But I love this movie because it's just it's very wholesome yet creepy at the same time, because it's not very not real horror, but like the idea of Santa Claus in this is very unique. And and Santa's elves are very just weird and creepy, but it's just like a very interesting take on a Christmas type horror film.
Yeah.
And yeah, I highly recommend this to anybody that has not seen it. I think it's Norwegian. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, so it
Okay.
is subtitled. But yeah, definitely give that one a watch. And then the other one is 2015's Black Coat's Daughter.
I knew
Oh,
that was going to be on your
yes.
list. I knew
Yes.
it.
Yep, just because once again the feeling of isolation and cold, and this story is just so dark and creepy. And granted, the whole reveal of who one character actually is, like halfway through the story, probably could have chose someone that resembled that person a little more, but I'll forgive that because the story itself was really fucking good. And yeah, it is one of those, it's just like very haunting and full of dread.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
I literally watched this about a month ago with my 11-year-old daughter.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Whoops. Yeah, that's been a mistake with that one.
Hey, you know what? It's okay. You just kind of have conversations about it afterwards. That's
Exactly.
all, right? I was watching Pulp Fiction with my dad at 11, so you know what?
All right. Yeah.
I watched The Exorcist with my mom at the age of 10, so
yeah, it's fine. What about your honorable mentions, Matt? Is there anything you want to
just a couple. Dead Snow.
Oh yeah, that's
2007.
Awesome. Yeah,
I mean,
good
that's
one.
just a fun zombie movie.
Yeah.
I think that's another Norwegian one again, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I believe so.
I think
yeah.
so, yeah.
Basically, a group of younguns go out to a hut to kind of hang out for what are they, sledging or something, or
skiing? I think
skiing or something.
like that,
yeah, and then suddenly they've unleashed the Nazi zombie horde upon themselves. I mean, what else do you need apart from Nazi zombies?
Absolutely right.
Yeah, great fun. What else? And the other one, because you kind of mentioned the other ones that I was going to pick, but also Better Watch Out.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Which is really good fun, really well acted. Yeah, good fun. Basically, this girl's babysitting this young man, and this young man turns out to be something that he isn't.
Yeah,
quite
a minimum.
surprise.
Yeah.
So that's a good fun sort of Christmas movie to watch. But yeah, that's all I got really.
Awesome. Well, we had a good variety. Honestly, we had a few that we all mentioned, but our top fives were actually pretty different.
Yeah,
I was very impressed by that. Like, I was wondering, like, because when we do a holiday theme or winter theme, like, there is only so many you can choose from. That does narrow our list down. But I'm shocked that we all had like a nice variety on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, yeah, it's good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Matt. Before we end today, we would love for you to promo where everyone can listen to your podcast, as well as any other works you have going on that you may want to promote. I don't know, you're going to the pub later and you want to let everyone know. I don't know, you're DJing at like another hot club next weekend. You can promo it here.
Oh, that's very kind. Well, thank you both ever so much for having me. It's been a real joy and a real pleasure. And we must have you on our show.
Oh, please.
Absolutely.
We'd love to.
We'll have you in the new year, definitely. We'd love to have you both on. So
that would be
great.
And
I'm sure, we'll be able to fit Kate in some other time.
Yeah, that's Cinema, the place that we cannot speak of. The name we cannot speak. Maybe
it's like
they'll
Voldemort.
give her some time off, right? It is, you know what? It probably is like Voldemort. They sound like they're like fucking Voldemort. But where can we find your podcast?
So yes, our podcast is the Eternal Darkness of Not So Spotless Minds podcast. You find us on the usual places. I usually let Kate do this, but it's me. Find us on Anchor, Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, blah blah blah. We're on Facebook /groups Edenism Pod. Also on Instagram Edenism _ podcast, and email at edspotlessminds@gmail.com.
Awesome.
And that's about it.
Awesome. So please, everyone who's listening, if you haven't had a chance already to check out their podcast, please do. Please check out Kate on the Dark Parade, as well, with Mr. Bo Ramsdell, and also all the work that I understand. Have you been involved in summer series as well, Matt?
Not really. I mean, I just did a what they call the listeners bit at the end.
Okay.
So yeah, but basically, I don't know. God, Christ, I can't remember what the hell it's called. Anyway, just yeah.
You've been a little bit. You've been a side character. You've been a side piece.
Yeah, I've been the side piece. Kate's been a main player in that one. But I think I get bumped up to next year, so I may be doing a bit more for that next year.
Nice.
So
well, congratulations. I hope you enjoy it. It sure is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, definitely.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here again. For everyone who's listening, as you know, we moved away from our usual format this month. We wanted to have our very special international guests. Matt was our first, and then we'll be having our Aussie C words at the at the end of our I'll just say it, our favorite cunts. Listener discretion advised, but they call themselves that all the time.
I know they do.
It's constant. If you listen to Horror for Dummies, they use that word, and it's just used differently in Australia than it's used in North America. So I can say it about those two, and it is fine because they use it to describe themselves.
Exactly.
We actually have a Facebook group where we call each other those words, but we give something else beforehand. Like, I'm Canadian C word. We have a little chat group that we use.
Yeah, and I'm the American C word.
Right. And
Tim is Scott's C word.
Yeah,
and Daniel is Heather's C word.
Right? So, and we talk about wrestling and stuff like that in there too, because they also have a wrestling podcast now.
Good stuff.
Right. And then also we'll have Lance Lanford from the Horror Returns.
Oh, yeah.
Lance's episode will be released to Patreon first. So if you are not a member of Legion Patreon, please sign up today. But you can follow all our other podcast feeds, including all our other podcast friends from Legion, by just subscribing to Legion podcasts on any of the services that you would subscribe to. We really look forward to you joining the Legion family. And again,
join us.
And I look forward to meeting up at the pub one day with Matt, and we can watch some football, have some drinks, and call other people C words. That's fine, right? In England,
that's guaranteed.
Is that okay? Like, can I just
Absolutely,
be like, this is my C? Is that okay? Like,
hey, I'm happy with that. Yeah, definitely.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I love when you guys say shag and fancy and stuff like that. I love that shit. Like, well, Canada's, we're connected to England, right?
Oh,
we
yeah.
Governor General and all that shit. So
yeah, we're blood brothers and sisters. Yep. Yeah,
we are, right?
And I'm the traitor amongst.
Yeah, not like the fucking betrayer over here. Oh, the tea tax. Yeah.
Y'all ain't gonna tell us what to do. We American.
I'm American. Have my gun. But no, as always.
Fuck yeah.
Team America. Oh man, what a great movie that is.
Love it.
We talk about Team America all the time. But Scotty, why don't you see us out?
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to our what is this? Episode 48?
I think it's 47.
Or 47? Yeah. We'll have to look.
We don't know. 47, 48, everyone. It's your best guess.
It's all blending together now at this point. But yeah, thank you again for listening, and thank you very much, Matt, for joining us. And Kate, sorry you couldn't be here, but we'll hopefully get to work with you at some point down the road. To everyone that is listening, thank you as always. We should hopefully have another episode out before Christmas time for our main feed. I can't remember, but in the meantime, okay,
we'll have Lance and we'll have this one.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll say I thought Lance was the okay, yeah. Never mind. I'll keep going. But
keep going, Scott. It's okay. Just keep going. Keep your head in the game.
I got this.
Got it.
Until next time, everyone, have a very blistery cold, wonderful time of year and unpleasant dreams.
See ya.
See ya.